It is a great position for Talon to be in. You said, Chip, you wanted some stuns. I was going to ask you to try and give me some examples, but the line comes out, and then they're also going to pick up the Ember Spirit there.
All good. I would have said Shadow Shaman, Lion, Hoodwink. Those are like just my top 3 big stuns. I also wouldn't have minded an offlaner like Mars, but I think Death Prophet is so powerful that there's no reason not to throw him in the offlane. And they'll take Ember, which I respect a lot because, like I said, I don't think RSG tend to like the other spirits too much. They have played them, so there's no like ruling that out. But taking Ember from him is like his best spirit. He's been playing a lot recently, so.
Isn't that like almost? Is there any mid play? I guess there's some who play Storm more than Ember, but there's no mid who plays.
So many Storms.
There's no mid who's like, oh yeah, they're a Void Spirit player. I feel like Void Spirit players are like not a thing.
I feel like 2 seasons ago, Quinn only played Void Spirit like every game. I remember getting sick to death of it. I was like, dude, he's owning, but I'm sick of it. I hate Void Spirit.
You guys still say you're sick of Void Spirit.
Yeah, I'm still sick of it because he's still good.
He's just the most boring of the spirits, I think. Like Ember and Storm are just flashier. Storm just does crazy stuff, and then Earth Spirit's is like a fun 4 that makes plays. Like Void Spirit's is kind of eh.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this Tiny, only because you're already playing into like a Death Prophet lane, which is kind of rough. But like, I mean, he'll farm, he'll be fine. But like, this doesn't look like a fantastic Tiny game. I guess like the Avalanche is good at breaking refraction and so on and so on. But like,
yeah,
it's not like super free looking.
Which tempo are you enjoying more out of the teams?
Talons is going to be able to run at you a lot with this lineup already. They just need something that is a little bit more durable on the last support.
Well, I'm wondering if Death Prophet goes support and they pick that KP like Brewmaster type hero.
Well, they could, yeah.
Because like I think Death Prophet 5 with TA sounds like a fine lane, and then you've got Lion plus your tanky offlaner. But again, it could go either way. I think you either need that like straight like the Earth Spirit, the 4 position that's like the Tusk Earth Spirit strength 4 at the front line. I mean, you don't have to front line. Death Prophet naturally is just tankier than most of those ranged offlaners, but it just feels nice to have some kind of hero to start fights.
Well, Talon is going to be picking first out of the 2, RSG getting the last overall. So what would you like to see them do that maybe RSG might struggle to retaliate to?
Against Tiny Shadow Demon,
like something that skirmishes well with the rest of the team. Like if you TA is farming triangle and you're like DP, Lion, Ember plus support are fighting, that's like not the worst. You just need to like play around the cooldowns on RSG because I think their team fight right now is way better between like Willow, Fear, and Roll and stuff. Like this will be tied together with their final like mid pick, which is gonna like hopefully be a fighter. Matches their mid's playstyle anyway. But yeah, if you're playing into a team fight, you're probably gonna lose the fight. But if the roll's on cooldown, it should be easy for Talon. I think if they have a good last pick here. It really depends on what they pick for me to judge.
Of course. Is there something that stands out for you that's like, I would love this lineup and I'd be all in on Talon if they picked this hero?
I need a 5, right?
So looking at the cameras, KP's not talking, which makes me think it's not his pick. Because if it's his pick, he'd be talking. Like no joke. Like when players.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's good.
Okay, he's talking again. Okay, maybe. Well, let's see. But he's not talking a lot. Usually when it's like your pick coming up, you're talking. You know, you're actively involved in discussion.
He just said 2 words, so it's his pick.
Okay. Yeah. This is looking more and more like his pick now. There's a lot of KP talking going on. Dude.
Oh,
okay.
damn. Okay, well, I hate it, but it's fine.
Wait,
no explanation. I just don't like it.
But it's fine.
It's fine. I hate it, but it's fine. It's fine. Okay.
Why don't you actually like him?
Oh, my only issue with that lineup right now is, like, they're very greedy. They're just very
That's
greedy.
a good way to put it.
Which is... I mean, I don't think that's the playstyle you want to take into RSG. I mean, maybe they feel really confident that they hit like mid game, late game, and they can hold off that long, and then they'll be stronger because that's like a full possibility. You just relying really hard on your supports to do a lot, I think.
Yep.
Do you think they have that skill then to be it's hard to say, right? Because they're coming up against RSG. We've never seen this matchup before, so it is hard to say. But do you think that they have the skill to be able to prolong it that much?
I think generally speaking, I mean, absolutely, but it seems a bit weird to go greedy when they've got like the TA draft. Usually TA wants to play like this more like mid-game timing, like tempo. You take Roche, you take towers. Doom, I think maybe maybe you skip the Midas, I don't know, and just go for like BKB Blink.
No, you doubled down and you definitely bottom lane. Okay, so this is a mid-wind ranger.
Oh,
My man loves it.
he is a specialist. This is his hero.
Well, the drafts are completed, and that means we also get to see and talk to our casters, and we're going to be joined by Danog for the first time. Basskip, how are you?
Yeah,
I'm doing well. Yeah, I got my. I mean, Ares has been cheating with me a lot, so I figured I'd go back to an X and you know, just one last ride into the sunset.
I was going to bring that up, but I'm glad you did it for me. I want to get you guys' thoughts if you want to start Danog on this draft and kind of who you're siding with.
I like Talons. I mean, we were talking about Sheepa, you hated the Doom coming through from KP, but it's the man's birthday. If he wants to play the Doom, give him the Doom.
So
and, you know, against the Tiny, it's pretty good. All of that percentage-based damage with the Infernal Blade. In terms of being greedy, I feel like Makoto, Hyde, and Q can get pretty damn active early on. All you really need is that Orb of Corrosion and Phase Boots, and you're able to do a fair amount just as that Ember.
And yourself, Basskip?
Look, I'm with Sheep. I don't believe in the Doom. I'm not going to justify it any further than that, but that's
That's
No,
the
Ares.
level of analysis
Please,
we do
can you
here.
come back
I just
already,
don't
Ares?
like it.
Dude, that's not fair. I didn't hard say. You know, I don't like it, but it can work. You know, they just have to get
First
to the
you say you
mid-game.
hate it, now
I
you're
hate
saying
it.
you went from hate to
Okay,
don't
She
like.
was
hate
role playing as Mike.
Your
It's
convictions
trash.
are just...
It's no.
All right, quickly though, team name, where you guys want game one, or where you think it's going.
I'm really excited to see this Wind Ranger, so I want to see RSG win.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Talon for game one.
Well, of course, you guys are split, but
as-
game one, we are jumping into. If you want to take it away, Danog and Basskip.
great. Thanks
Oh.
so much, Nat. Yeah.
This will be exciting, right? Like, I'm going to go with Talon. How about you?
No, I've got RSG.
Oh, okay. So we're
I'm
split
not a
there as well.
believer. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be served if I didn't have this, you know. Friendship ended with Ares. Now you're back to being my best friend. It's been a long time, Kip, but I'm very happy to be casting with you again. And it should be a great series. You know, two teams undefeated. Not a ton to play for sure, but these guys have a lot of pride on the line.
You should have gone for the double edit, right? Which was me originally, then Ares, and then back.
It's true. That is
but
true,
oh well.
actually.
It's all right. You dug me out of a dumpster somewhere to come and do some more casting.
A
so
dumpster in Brisbane. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, exactly. I've been busy working just a regular old 9 to 5, but nice to be back and
Normies.
doing a little bit of casting with you.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, you know, that's the way. That's what COVID will make happen. Anyway, smoke
We
moves
got
early
it.
from both teams here.
Got a bit of banter as well coming out from the ex-SMG teammates with KP. Bad luck, don't have fun, Roger. And he says, thank you, birthday boy. So it's always great to see a little bit of the bants coming through there. Just doing some early scouting as well is Roger. Just using that nighttime, making sure that the only thing that would enable him to be hit would be any kind of vision on that high ground next to where he's running around. So yeah, just using that to full effect, even just when he was about to place that ward in the mid lane.
Mystery deepens.
Yeah, and we've already got the small camp blocked out in a very insidious way. Not to mention, this is actually pretty hard to deal with, so we will have to see.
I'm a big fan of the small camp block, especially when, you know, you've got these lanes that want to be able to rotate back, right? A lot of times people say that, oh, you can go for these weird unorthodox builds, you can get a bit more of the flame guard these days, but there's no real reason to this game, I don't think. I think the Slide of Fist plus the Searing Chains max is the way to go, and then just go full on into that right-click build. Anything that's going to buff up your TA super early on and allow you to get active is pretty damn effective.
Yeah, it does make them a little bit easier to itemize against, though, right? If you're doing all-out physical damage on both the Ember and the TA, but even if you itemize for physical damage on the Ember, you're still going to do a decent amount of magic. How do you feel about this Death Prophet becoming the position 5 right at the end of the draft?
I think it's fine. I mean, Q, he loves playing on this hero. Back when he was on Motivate Trust, I always saw him as like the actual best player on the team, just because he provided something that not a lot of other players were at the time. So his ability to have this flex is quite nice, and you know, he's going to want to be up in the face of Xiao Bonbon as well as Xiao Yu, especially early on with his Pango. Your spells have quite a long cooldown, so the fact that Spirit Siphon is just going to have the one charge super early, it's not going to be punished that heavily.
It's such a pain that DP doesn't have any move speed items, and there's only a 10 move speed difference to the Dark Willow who has moves. Like, what could you What are you supposed to do in this situation? He's just getting chased around in circles.
Love to see it. We need to see a mini patch after the DPC and before the major, that's for sure. Get rid of the heartbeat creep, nerf the DP's movement speed a little bit. That's just the very beginning, and Tiny, of course, should be towards the top of that list.
Fix Ogre's shard, please. That would be great. I don't know if you saw me complaining about that, but it doesn't work at all. It does 0% damage reduction currently. So.
You'll love to see it.
Oh well. Always the way. Very even on the mid lane so far.
Not liking that. Top side, Roger's gonna die though.
Okay, gets brought down. Early on, this lane was looking alright in terms of pressure from RSG, but it just gets caught out of position there. Come on, Roger. This is the, well, I guess it's the Aussie show on both sides, right? We got KP and we got Roger. We'll claim Roger for this series.
Just a little bit, yeah. We gotta. I remember you were talking about, you know, when you were why you were a big fan of Australia, supporting Australian representation at TI. Back then we had Ana and KP, so we had two. It was like double the chances of some kind of success. And you know, we could sort of go down that route again, but you can't go past the birthday boy. Come on, man.
Yeah. Well, I already said that I didn't like the Doom, so I have to kind of stick to my guns here. But we'll just have to see how things go. So far, lane's looking good. He's actually got the heal creep currently, so playing the war of attrition. Probably not what he wants 100%, but good enough for now. And actually a much better skill since they changed it in the patch, right? Before it was a little bit pathetic. You sit there spamming the animation constantly and then kill yourself for like 15. A little bit of trouble for Q at bottom. It gets got him, but the Spirit Siphons are killing him up. Xiao Yu very low. One more touch would do it, and now they just turn their attention over to Bon Bon. He'll be going down.
Not able to get that kill as well,
it.
which would have given him the earn charges and not going to get them. It's not going to have enough mana as well, but he's still feeling a little bit anxious at looking to go up onto that high ground as... Oh, Xiao Yu has to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, one hit and the nuke, he gets him! Oh no, Xiao Yu, that hurts. This bottom lane is now going to be very rough.
What can I say?
Well, my RSG pick not looking so great early, but the Talon fantastic in the lanes thus far, really putting on a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I mean, this is the sort of game, anytime I see a Wind Ranger, unless it's like the perfect Wind Ranger game, I'm always hesitant about it, because the only times that I've seen it have any level of success, yes, we saw it in the previous game, but that was lower end of Division 2, where perhaps there were a few more mistakes happening, but I really want to see heroes that don't require every single rotation to be a winner, and it feels like that's what Wind Ranger needs, right? You need to just go kill to kill to kill to kill to kill without too much failures or missed attempts, which can just be through good plays from the other team. And but if you don't do that, it feels like you can fall behind in really quick fashion.
Yeah, this is really tough for Excellent here. The Water Rune got sniped up by Q, so he gets no refill. Almost hoping that his supports die in one of the side lanes so that they can come and give him that little bit of extra help. Because this is when the Ember damage is really starting to stack up as well. He's got the third point in Sleight of Fist, and he's playing on the brink. Though he does have some stick charges and Fairy Fire up his sleeve. Looking for a little bit of a turnaround here. Makoto going to be brought down, even with the raindrop. 3 points in Power Shot is a lot of damage, as it turns out. Very nice.
Raindrop plus the little bit at the end of the Flame Guard as well, so... Yeah, excellent. That's the big thing that I've really noted about RSG is that it has been an even contribution across the board, but Excellent is just winning a lot of these mid lanes that he should not. And doing it
for Roger up top, hexed up, a little bit of damage. Here comes the help from MKS to get the disruption out. Can't really turn towards KP. He's a beefy boy, so he's going to be fine. And trade up here. Actually, still going to keep going on the MKS. They had another stun. That's all they got left in the tank.
Not really either lineup that is able to take advantage of these first siege creeps. You know, it's a position 5 Death Prophet, so you're nowhere close to having the Exorcism available, no Dragon Knights coming through. So I don't think these siege creeps are going to result in too much of anything. That was part of the reason why I ended up going for Talon, right, is that you've got these greedy draft, but what's really going to punish you in any significant fashion? Nothing, from what I can see.
Yeah, they don't have the DK or the DP or anything. Could have getting pressured a little bit at mid. But it's going to be okay. It just hops away. 6-minute rune, not lucky for Excellent, unfortunately. Oh, Roger going to get it, though. He comes in with the disruption. All right, nicely done.
Got a little bit greedy there. Wanted to get every single bottle sip before he was able to get that haste rune. So Roger, very nice use of the rotation coming through when the lane was pushed in favor of MKS at the time. All lanes really going quite well for RSG right now, outside of course, that solo kill in the mid lane.
For Talon.
For Talon. God, I keep doing that, man.
Yeah, that's okay. it happens. Yeah, things are looking good, and I think they're totally happy with these very static lanes for now. Like you said, I think they've kind of got the, especially when you're picking something like the Doom, right? You've kind of got the inevitability to a certain extent. So pressure really on RSG to be making plays. And for now, you know, Zhao Bonbon, the things didn't go so well at bottom, and he's just sort of falling back to stack for now, and trying to give Zhao Yu the level 6. And maybe they can make a play there, but other than that, not a whole lot happening on the map. Maybe the other opportunity is they can get the 8-minute rune for Wind Ranger or something, and get something going.
Is missing.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, you and I were talking backstage about the drafts, and I was kind of wanting a Leshrac to come out in this last phase. It's an excellent hero. It's able to put that pressure on the map that is going to force this greedy draft to potentially suffer a little bit. To different damage instances for the refraction, but maybe just the Doom discourage that.
Well, trying to put some pressure on Savage here, but not going to work out. He thinks the ward's up on the high ground, but it is actually just on the cliff here. And they are going to make their way bottom now with level 6 on the Pango, so we'll see if Talon choose to respond heavily for this, or if they're just content to push out both the other lanes. And, oh, never mind, Exelorn going back for the rune, see if he gets lucky this time around.
The 5 DP is probably one of those better heroes at being able to just sit down here, soak up a lot of experience. You use it amazingly as this 5 DP, and you've got that safe way to be able to keep the lanes pushed out a little bit. So again, unless you've got that siege creep, there's no real way for you to convert this little bit of chip damage into an actual objective being taken.
And that's the beauty of a hero like this TA, right? Just gets into the jungle super early, can farm up everything, and create that little bit of extra space on the map for someone else to farm. The same could even be said of the Ember. You know, if he wanted to get active, they could definitely open up the mid lane for some experience there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we had our doubts a little bit about the Willow during the draft, and still just very, very slow start for Bonbon here.
Yeah, it really does feel like you need a solid hero to combo it together with. Of course, the Mars was banned out super early on.
Looking to make a little bit of a go. I guess the immediate slide off, and Makoto's just out of there. He's going to be A-okay. A little bit of pressure. Didn't even really force any TPs or anything. I think that's maybe what they were hoping for. They do have the Pango in the area. Looks like a little bit of a go here on the 23 Savage. He gets the refraction up. Exelorn with the shackle. Good damage. Here comes the ultimate as well, but gets immediately hexed high with the TP, and he can't keep the auto attack skilling. Savage is dropping low, but he's not dead. One more touch will do it finally, but they're going to pay the price for this one. A little bit of a deep dive, and Makoto will clean up that secondary kill, and they're not done. Roger kind of drifting in a bit too close to this fight. Wanted that D ward. He will get it, but pays for it with his life, and heavy casualties for RSG on mid.
Yeah, he was wanting to make sure that he could try and get the deny on the Pangolier, but ends up giving away his own life. The Sleight of Fist revealing him as well as that ward. At least he's able to get that with the remnants of his HP, but yeah, just more and more favor going towards Talon. And Q didn't even turn up to that.
No, he's just been chilling bottom, getting level 6, pushing out the wave, pressuring the poor old Dark Willow, who can just not catch a break, right? Came to bottom like, ooh, I'm gonna get a few waves of experience, and then suddenly there's a TA trap and a Spirit Siphon, and you've got no health left. And you're still level 3, 10 minutes into this game.
How do you feel about this first item BKB coming out from Q as well? 5 Death Prophet. He's like, you know what, boots, magic stick, BKB. That's all I really want to be concerned about. And I mean, it forces you to perhaps even consider wasting a Demonic Purge onto a position 5 just to be able to slow him down that little bit.
I like it, honestly. Like, what else? If he buys BKB, they have to commit like pretty heavily with either a focus fire or something to actually kill him, right? At that point, you no cares Pango, no cares Shadow Demon, no cares Dark Willow. Just do whatever you want.
Yeah, we've got the siege creep finally hitting in onto the tower. I wonder if they pop the glyph so that it remains alive. Doesn't look like they're going to, though. So this push, even with QTPing away from that lane because of the ward that he placed just previously where Zhao Yu's standing, Means that he's not going to lose anything. You're probably not going to lose too much damage onto this tower, and you're free to make a move up towards this top side, which they do with the smoke. Coming out, trying to find the Tiny. AP doesn't have the Doom available, but they need it right now. And Exo's going to be able to do plenty.
Ulo, and with the finger, that is just Bon dead instantly. I think fortunately RSG did manage to clear out their own stacks a little bit earlier, so Talon won't be able to steal those, but yeah, are they going to get anything? Looks like they might get the trade bottom here at the very least.
Yeah, but you get information on the stacks, right? Or the lack thereof. You get a kill, and you still get a trade, right? And this is a position 5 versus 2 cores being able to make these sorts of moves onto the bottom side of the map. So you can see Q here just looking to scout out a little bit more. Tiny bit of duration left. Might just try and get a bit of the remnants there onto the tower.
Yeah, why not? This, oh my god, just a few ghosts.
So much.
This Death Prophet. What a hero. And pressure. And, I mean, Savage has just been farming this entire time. We've got KP, who's just about to pick up his Midas. Birthday boy going to be very happy with that. He's just chilling. And, well, they do have a Maelstrom on Exilern. Looking for this invis kill maybe onto Mikoto, but he just immediately jumps away. The Shackle's still chasing him. But no play there, unfortunately.
Especially now no play there. You don't have the Rolling Thunder.
Oh, KP getting going on a little bit, but I think he's going to be okay. Fight happening over on the other side. Roger just alive for now. Don't want to dive in too deep. But Talon are just poking and prodding and constantly there. Trouble, Roger, once again. If another slight finds him, he might be in trouble, but it was pretty low on mana. There's also a fight happening over at mid. Silence on the MKS.
They're really respecting this Exilern movements, right? Just constantly looking to play around their wards. Yeah, they lose an Observer ward, but this is time that you're spending on a mid that isn't farming. And look at what's happening in the meantime. Got Ember Spirit. He doesn't have the greatest amount of net worth himself, but he's still using a lot of that potential to take attention away from this Doom, who's going to be able to scale. You want the Doom to have high levels in the Infernal Blade against this Tiny. This is the sort of game where you just want to be that space maker in the mid lane for Mikoto. And I was talking about earlier on that Exilern, he's been able to make a lot of mid lanes happen more favorably for him. And we saw that again this game with that early first blood, that solo kill that he was able to get onto Mikoto. But it feels like Mikoto has done a lot of the heavy lifting in a lot of Talon's wins. And this game, it doesn't feel like he needs to. You know, it's going to be on the back of Savage and KP with all the farm that they're making.
Yeah, and if the Doom gets enough items this game, what can you do, right? If he gets BKB, Blink, Shiva, at that point, he's just going to be a god in the fights. And I feel like Exilern has played well, and he's been hungry for the kills, but he just hasn't had supports to be able to play with, really. You know, Roger and Bon have just been so underleveled this entire game. They've been constantly staring at this mid tower, but really struggling to put any pressure onto it. And Talon, all they have to do is just come over, they poke a little bit, they throw out a few slights, and they're totally fine.
Yep. Where's your catch? Is basically it. As long as you've got vision of that Wind Ranger, you're not too concerned. And maybe that's part of the reason why MKS feels like he needs to join in onto this, just because they are so heavily lacking in tower damage that he's like, look, I've got my Echo Saber, I've got my Blitz Knuckles. This is the only way that we're going to be able to take any kind of objectives here.
Yeah, let's bring 5 heroes and we can at least demolish it. And for Talon, I guess just waiting for a timing at the moment. Maybe some BKBs. Actually, how many BKBs do they have coming up? Especially with Q looking for one here. So I think that's
you've just finished
BKBs
a
on the
Desolator
horizon.
on Savage. So that's pretty deadly. Might be like, you probably just want to take a team fight, use it to take mid tower, and then go into the Roshan.
They get something. Pushing them out of their jungle at the very least.
I'd be kind of like that double-edged sword, though, right? You have to use the Rolling Thunder to be able to kill the Lion, but it's so early on. He's up in 20 seconds, Rolling Thunder not for another minute, so wouldn't surprise me if Talon just look to group up together and go for some kind of aggressive play. They have an idea that MKS is playing on this bottom side, and they know that it's not that team fight control.
Ooh, they run into the Dark Willow, but
scouting him out there, yeah.
Yeah, gonna be okay. I feel like Q is itching to use this exorcism somewhere, whether that's just, you know, sauntering into the Roshan if they're feeling confident enough, or just using it to find some kills, given that they've already taken top, and mid's pretty low. A successful fight would probably get them that for free, even without needing the exorcism to finish it off.
Yeah, for sure. You always want to be keen to use that as much as possible when it's off cooldown, but honestly, the fact that they're not getting super active isn't too bad either, right? Like we've said, it's a greedy lineup. They're happy to be able to just sit back and get that extra farm that's going to come out from being a Doom, who's just 1,000 gold away from finishing his BKB.
Roger.
Quite savage
Okay.
here, though.
Yeah, wants to be pretty aggressive, comes in. X-Learn gonna do what he can. Trouble for 23 Savage. Can they help him out? Hyde comes in. There's the lockdown. Savage is gonna turn around, tear X-Learn in half. Zhao Yu gonna try and finish this kill. Will manage to do so, but can RSG now get out? TP from one. Roger looking for the TP as well, but Makoto just giving him the full duration there before interrupting it, and it will end up being...
KP's getting a little low.
Yeah, can they finish him off? MKS coming out of the Doom in just a second. If he can keep the vision, which he can. Yeah, can he
Ooh, he
finish
wants
the
to get the
job?
toss.
Okay, he's just gonna go for Hyde instead. All right, that's gonna be a freebie, but unfortunate that they couldn't get KP. Q with the last
Still, they
little
are
bit of
able
the
to get that
exorcism.
pesky tier 1, yeah.
Yeah, that's such a pain. Okay, well that really opens up the Roche now as well. So I imagine that once we see like the triple BKB come out from Talon, that they can quite easily just walk in there if they want. MKS still making plays with this Shadow Blade though. Trouble for the Ember Spirit down here. Do they have enough damage? One more touch? Yes, they can. Makoto picks it up. And Zhao Yu also in the neighborhood. Still 20 seconds on the Rolling Thunder, but RSG starting to pick up the pace. They're Tiny starting to get more involved, and that Avalanche lockdown proving to be very useful there.
Yeah, and he's been pretty good so far on Makoto of just having a Fire Remnant out somewhere on the map just so that he can get away from a lot of these rotations. Previously, he was only really concerned about Exilone, and at the time, I believe he was revealed on the map. But now that the Shadow Blade is a factor, I'm sure he's going to ensure that that's the case.
KP. Nicely done. This is good damage, and they've got the Rolling Thunder as well, just going to ensure it. 100%. Roger,
Couple
okay,
of
a little
times
bit of
now.
disruption. I'm just gonna go for the TP out. Do they have enough damage here? Almost. Okay, no, I think he's gonna survive. Nope.
Oh,
Never mind that. Did he? Oh, did he get
the
vessels?
vessel on him, so he didn't get the fountain regen.
alright. I did not think that level 1 Demonic Purge was that much damage, but there you go, 300. Pretty good.
If only he purchased a raindrop.
Yeah.
You can see it's in his quick buy.
Yeah. Poor guy. Well, RSG making a huge series of plays on the bottom side of the map here and really starting to drag the game back. Tiny looking big, looking strong, and these BKBs from Talon still being waited for. Not really finding that timing that they were hoping for, perhaps. And not a whole lot of control from them in the top side of the map, so...
It's going to be a little bit away, but I still feel like you've got
Roger's finding
some
more.
decent pressure.
Alright, disruption. KP slowed down a little bit. Is anyone coming to help him? Not really. Here comes the Demonic Purge. And KP just kind of gonna get sold out here once again. Team
He bought his
moving
BKB in
vaguely.
the time, though.
Yeah, okay, that's good.
Yeah, not losing any of that unreliable gold, which is always a plus. MKS is just daring someone to come down to the exact same spot that he was able to get those kills onto Makoto and KP previously. So I think it's starting to sway a little bit in their favor again, and you'd have to be favoring that if you're an RSG fan, but like we've been saying, you've hit a lot of big timings up here on Talon, getting closer to that BKB on even 23 Savage now. It's just the recipe component away. About, was it 400 gold or so on Q? You've got it on KP, you've got a Blink Dagger, you've got a Maelstrom. Lots of big timings that they can look to exploit. They've just got to make sure that their sentry vision is good so that this Tiny isn't looking to continuously get active.
Yeah, making sure that the Tiny doesn't get that instant kill in the fight is so important, right? Especially against these BKBs. If you can see him coming and you can press your BKB, then maybe you'll be alright. But if he gets the instant pick to start the fight and it just turns into a 4v5, that's where things get tricky. Are they giving
Yeah, and you know that that's how he wants to play, right? Especially now that Zhao Yu's got the Blink Dagger as well. You're not going to roll in just to be able to lock them down for a little bit unless you've got that follow-up damage. And MKS is totally capable of dishing out a lot of that damage as they're trying to catch out Q. He's so close to being able to pick up his BKB, 20 gold away.
Oh, Hyde's courier as well. Be careful. Okay, he's going to get picked off. This is some real pos 5 play. Hyde bought the tome for the DP so that he could finish his BKB and
they're like, where's this Tiny?
exorcism.
They're hunting.
Yeah, they're wondering. MKS I don't think you have enough damage to do this by yourself. Maybe he's gonna try at least. He's thinking about it. Makoto gets hit. A couple more slaps. Hyde jumps in. Immediate turnaround. Can they keep the Tiny here long enough is the question. Is that you coming over for a little bit of help? Has already used the blink. Okay, just a bit of a poke and prod. Makoto gonna be okay. And
there are a few pings coming out around the Roche pit as well. Coming from Roger, I believe. So they want to start to make plays around that sort of area and feel like MKS has got the damage to be able to do so. I don't know about this, though. It's a very risky proposition as they go for a 4-man smoke here, but I believe that it was underneath the ward, at least on Q. A little bit more towards the right side, so you can see they're looking to set up around the high ground.
Catcher with the scan. MKS breaks the smoke immediately. They do get the Hex off onto the Dark Willow, but Xiaoyu now coming through. 23 Savage already losing so much life. Gets the BKB off, but will still get beat down. It's carry for carry, and now Q in the middle of the team fight, trying to do his best with the BKB. TP out from Bonbon. Xiaoyu still doing some work, but the Exorcism starting to tear him apart a little bit. Finds an Arcane Rune for himself, but Makoto not going to let him go. Over on the other side, KP still looking for a little bit more. He's in pretty deep. He catches on to Exilern, who does have the wind run to get himself out of there. Roger's still poking on the front lines. Another support drops, and Makoto's still looking for more, but he gets feared under the tower. Locked down. Here comes the Shackle. The rest of the team going to try and help out. Do they have any damage left in the tank? It looks like maybe not. Makoto turns around, gets the kill onto Roger. Bonbon hiding in the trees. Needs to be careful. Does have the Yules. And actually, okay. Locking down into KP. Buyback from Roger. Looking for a little bit more of a chase. Can they actually get anything? Makoto is low, but I think he's well out of there. You
just see how much more important it is that Tiny stays alive on RSG's side versus Talon. Like, you've got so much more consistent damage coming out from a lot of their heroes, and it really is just that one and done sort of deal with the Rolling Thunder, with Exilern and the Focus Fire.
Just gotta be careful here. Everybody's back up on the side of Talon, and they're in pretty deep. The rest of the team is not around. Roger does have a couple of saves to buy time, but Bonbon not going to be quite so lucky. KP with the BKB in, wants to clean up these support. They're going to turn their attention once again onto 23 Savage and just bring him down with the Focus Fire BKB. Q once again with his BKB, turning his attention towards MKS, who's dropping low, Finger of Death. They are going to get the Doom at least, but Makoto now able to continue cleaning up. And with the two supports, Talon have all the lockdown in the world. They turn their attention onto the Wind Ranger, clean her up. Finally, Xiaoyu gets the blink away and manages to salvage the gem here. Back-to-back team fights, I think, slightly in Talon's favor there.
Oh man, all of this percentage-based damage is just nuts against a Tiny. You've got the Spirit Siphon, you've got the Infernal Blade that's now maxed out on KP, so Tiny isn't really a factor until he's got that BKB available for himself, and he's only got enough for one of those components. So I feel like this game is just going to be in Talon's favor for that next little bit of time, and in that time, he's died a couple of times now, but I feel like 23 Savage is super capable of keeping up with the net worth. He's still sitting second right now.
Yeah, and the Tiny is just, like, I understand why he has the blink. I know what he's doing, but every time he goes in, he just dies after he gets that initial kill, right? There's no reset opportunity. The supports are kind of looking for it. You know, the Glimmer Cape on the Shadow Demon, trying to get him out of there. They are chasing onto Makoto here. Oh, the Centaur! What is that? MKS gonna get locked down by the Jungle Creep. Okay, sure. 23 Savage is just inside of the pit currently. Everybody from Talon in the
fresh
area.
one. How many BKBs is that now? Four BKBs on Talon. They want to get active, and immediately they look to go for the smoke as Makoto comes back from the base. That fresh mana and HP. Know exactly where they are.
Finds it immediately onto Bonbon. Can they get some kind of a turnaround? Roger's up on the high ground. He's got some save here. Xiaoyu coming in, but with those BKBs, not really finding that much help. The actual trouble for the Ember Spirit. Will finally be able to get it off now. Continues chasing up onto Roger. Glimmer Cape keeping him alive for now. In the back lines, we've got Bonbon try to go in and to hide. I don't know who's actually going to win that support, though. Looks like they're both just going to end up dropping. Makoto getting caught by the toss. He's going to end up dying. Roger somehow still living. 23 Savage in pretty deep, and with no BKB now, will be the obvious target. MKS turns his attention over towards him. Couple of punches. Still big damage onto Exilern. Just getting shredded by this Exorcism Q. He's the position 5, but he's looking like the position 1. This fight is cleaning up everybody. Still surviving, hides in the backlines. Once again, we've got this support duel. Q finally going to drop from Roger, who picks up the double kill. Surviving through this fight, Hyde brought down, and it's a full team wipe in favor of RSG.
think this is the most aggressive we've seen both of these teams throughout the entire season. It really is like, you know, this is kind of the victory lap for both of them. They're both qualified to Division 1, and they're just like, you know what, let's get our items, and then just run at each other constantly, because Q is just doing far too much damage than he has any kind of right to. Very good kiting as well by RSG to make sure that they waste those BKBs. If you invest super heavy into them, and you're somehow able to escape, I mean, they have 3 heroes that are somewhat capable of doing so, right? The Wind Run, the Swashbuckle, and Rolling Thunder, the Shadow Realm. It's great abilities to be able to kite that sort of stuff out, but somehow Roger was able to get away from a lot of that aggression coming through from Makoto.
Yeah, Roger just dragged the fight all the way up into this corridor, wasted the BKBs. It was really, really nice. And I guess Makoto feeling pressured after he loses 3/4 of his HP to pop the BKB, but yeah, just very good kiting from RSG. Still, nobody has managed to take this Roshan. I think all of these fights have been on the pretense of, hey, we're going to take the fight, and then we're going to take Rosh if we win the fight. But both fights, it's been like, oh yeah, 4 dead on one team, 5 dead on the other team. Nobody gets to do anything. We saw the saddest glyph force in the world at bottom with 2 supports and the offlaner just walking up there. But they did get it. So
They did get it. That's the important thing. Man, Q is level 18, man. Like, what is going on here?
He did the most damage on his team in that last team fight. I think he did like 4.4k, and it was 3.9 was the next closest on Savage. So yeah, this hero has 1 item and some levels, and is wreaking havoc. KP got to be careful up here. MKS walked straight into him. Not going to be able to get the BKB off here, friend. Yu just going to lock him down. Where have the Dooms actually been going in these last couple of fights? I have not
I think I've seen them on the Pango a couple of times. I haven't really seen, like, just locking him down. Sure, you're not going to be able to stop the Rolling Thunder, but he has no method of escape after that. And, well, that 1 kill onto the Doom is enough justification for them to want to go into this Roche, especially great if you could take it away from a TA, one of the best Roche takers in the entire game, with all of that early damage. But RSG going to be the ones to deny that away, as they have the BKB now finished up on the Tiny, so he feels super capable of fighting, and he's also got the Acro Saber still completed. He had to disassemble it just to get that Ogre Axe component.
And now Tiny can continue to play the way he's been playing in these last 2 fights, but definitely survive after getting that first kill, right? Like, he's got the BKB, he's got the Aegis, he can go in, he can do whatever he wants, and yeah, kind of up to Talon to actually now start taking the slightly slower fights, be a little bit more conservative with how they're popping their BKBs. And we talked earlier in the game about feeling like Talon, maybe have the better late game. Do you still feel like that's the case with the way that this game is going?
I do. I still just think that it's going to be a factor of what are you going to do around this Tiny, because you can't just like slap the Doom onto him anymore, right? He's going to have that secondary life. So you need to find a way to initiate on him with extra vision. Of course, I feel like Hyde's been playing pretty damn well. He just used the Blink there to pick up another kill onto Roger. You just got to get that Blink Hex, maybe use the Finger of Death now that it's level 2 to be able to finish him off. And then for the second life, try and kite him out a little bit, try and force a BKB, or retreat enough that you're able to make that secondary initiation with the Blink Dagger and take him out. And then you can use the Doom, as long as he's not able to get that BKB popped in these team fights.
They're really just trying to camp a ward this time around. I think the last couple of fights, they've seen somebody on a wave or something like that and hoped for the immediate pickoff. They're being much more disciplined now. Oh, wait, is that how that interaction works? If you dispel the Willow Shard, you just spawn the Brambles instantly? Ah. Okay, that's kind of a pain.
Oh yeah.
Go to DD, but I don't know if your DD trumps the Tiny's Aegis here. So.
I always feel like if there's a Tiny, every single game he's going to get a Titan Sliver. By far the best hero at being able to do it, because so much of his damage is base.
Don't get me started on neutral items. We got a little bit of a fight, but not dead yet on Roger. They're actually going to focus him with the double BKB. Can they make it happen? They find Yu in the back lines with the Doom, going to keep him locked down. KP just staying on top of his target. Q continues to chase. They should be able to bring down the Pango and maybe even secure the gem for themselves here. Bonbon's thinking about it. Excellent on the side of the fight will pop the BKB and just kind of run for now. Talon finding the better positioning this time. And Q's not done. He's still just diving behind this tier 2 tower.
Has to be careful though. He's got a tiny coming with the haste. Might want to wait for that Shadow Blade, especially now as he's walking on top of that TA trap. So that'll force MKS to back away. But yeah, it was another good initiation and another great Doom coming through from KP, being able to land it onto the most important hero, in my opinion, in these fights, because you want to force those BKBs super early so that you're able to have impact on the rest of your heroes. Already gotten down to, what, 7 seconds already on most of them, so we're able to reduce that down to 6. That's a big impact that you're having.
Yeah. This ward has turned out to be beautiful for Talon, right? The fact that RSG have just not been able to get rid of it. I think that's what gave Vision over the Pango in the back lines. And let KP get that crucial Doom. So
Silver Edge now.
Swap him back over.
Nothing great to be able to break on MKS. No. He just wants that higher level of uptime with a lot of his mobility. I believe it's like, I want to say 7 seconds. Less cooldown on the Silver Edge as opposed to the Shadow Blade. And of course the crit stick has the component for it as well. See Savage, but can't really deal with that refraction.
Yeah, they have a nice ward of their own that they're hoping to play around, but I think it's evaded like 2 different sets of sentries, but I have not been able to put the full kind of team fight together. There's quite a lot of money sitting in the bank for Exilor, and what are you thinking next item-wise for the Wind Ranger here?
Oh, actually,
they're getting a little bit of locked in onto the Ember Spirit. Can they keep him chain stunned, though? That's going to be the question. Looks like they can. Great roll through from Zhao Yu. And still has a little bit of duration left. Can actually keep on going, chasing over toward this ward. They finally spotted it with that stolen gem. But looks like the rest of town will be able to retreat.
It's nearly going to expire by the time that they go back for it, and you can tell KP wants it. He's begging for it. He uses the phase boots. Oh, yes. Nice. That's the nice little birthday present that he wants.
So once again, RSG find themselves playing pretty close underneath the Radiant Ward. It's only got 40 seconds left, so they can't really exploit it with the Ember respawning. But they also only have 40 seconds remaining on the Aegis, so... RSG,
they're just trying to take as much territory as they can, right? Like, just to be able to prevent any kind of attempts around retaining any kind of your outpost. They've only been able to take 2 towers so far on Talon's side, which I'm honestly a little bit surprised about. You know, a TA plus a Death Prophet, you've got tons of building potential, but just hasn't eventuated that these fights have converted into too many kills. It always seems to be Savage that ends up dying super early on.
Yeah, it's both teams, right, with the building damage. And I guess that is where RSG may be feeling a little bit more comfortable, still having tier 2s and even a tier 1 still on the map. Like, they've got a little bit of a buffer. They can lose one fight and they won't be looking at losing their base. But if MKS survives and RSG win a team fight, then Talon's base definitely going to be in some trouble.
And both teams are just hugging these high ground wards, both of them, like one inside their own triangle on Talon or in their base, and RSG just looking to deny that jungle away. You know, well, there's a slow trickle of experience that's going to go more in favor of RSG the longer they hold that outpost, and it's a lot less space that you're able to farm as well if you're just stuck inside one triangle area.
Yeah, the game has been a slugfest, but these teams have been pretty methodical in the last 10 minutes or so. Right, with playing to the vision, looking for those good initiations. How much more headroom do you feel like this Tiny has item-wise? He's getting close to his AC, and then at that point he's almost slotted. I mean, still like blink upgrades and swapping stuff out, but...
That'll be about it, right? Blink upgrade and a moonshot is basically all you would want beyond that. Aghanim's Scepter, unfortunately, not anywhere near as core as it used to be.
But imagine if it was also a good right-click item. Tiny would just be foul. So we got a smoke. Hyde leading the way. There is vision on the high ground for both teams. Now can they get the D ward? Looking for it. Zhao Yu gets into the roll, but doesn't find anybody immediately. They get the lockdown onto Wind Ranger, but I think the Doom just got blocked by that Lincoln Sphere, so a little bit of a reset called for now. Q, is his reign of terror finally over? MKS finds him, gonna slap him down. Buyback from Hyde. They have also lost Bonbon. Hyde running for dear life as gets locked on top of here by big old Tiny.
Die back.
And trouble for him. Mikoto in the tree line. Gotta be careful. Actually gonna get shackled over to the creep wave. Not very happy with his creeps there as he does make it up onto the high ground. Still poking, prodding. 23 Savage. Nice blink away. And just gonna end up being support deaths for the most part. Very scary team fight.
And there's the value of playing out around your wards, right? It's a very different fight as long as that Rolling Thunder goes off on Zhao Yu, and immediately, as soon as he's under that, he's the one that popped the smoke, goes straight into the roll-up, and then uses that to channel up the Rolling Thunder. So guarantees that he's not going to be the one getting blinked on, no hex or anything like that. They would have needed to commit the Doom, and at the time, they didn't have any kind of vision available for Talon.
Yeah, a super different fight if the Doom doesn't get blocked, right? Excellent dies for sure. Trouble at mid. Mikoto got to be a little bit careful here. Fairly tanky, but Roger with the blink is chasing after him. Is going to get the disruption out. The tree not going to kill him off. 23 Savage, got to be careful with your positioning here, bud. Doesn't have the supports to back him up. Just going to dish the damage from the high ground with the BKB. MKS actually the one who needs to be careful. KP jumping in with the hoof stomp. 23 Savage now, no BKB left though, and it will end up being a carry for carry trade. You still chasing, wants that gem back if he can get it, but there is no follow-up for KP, so...
Oh, and a double damage though for Exilon.
Oh, boy.
Might look to make something happen with this, especially when there's no TA available. There's no Doom, there's no Exorcism, but they still feel like the Tiny still is that initial burst that they need to look to rally around.
Yeah, but both teams just looking for that instant pick-off at the start of the team fight, right? Either getting the Hex finger, getting a Doom off, or in the case of RSG, just hoping that Tiny can get a blink and pop somebody. And itemization stalling for the supports for sure. You know, they've been dying and putting a lot of gold into buybacks for the last couple of fights. Bonbon's looking for an Aeon disc. SD is just going to be picking up an Ags. So.
Yeah, I was kind of just wondering, like, when they were going to be looking to go for any kind of Aeon discs on both sides, to be honest, right? Because the Tiny blinking onto you is the only way that you're going to go down super quickly. They don't have tons of consistent damage coming out from RSG, and well, it doesn't seem like that's the avenue that they're going to go down. A Halberd is the thing being queued up by Q, which is, of course, is going to be very effective as well, just with how tanky he is, how survivable he is against a lot of this burst, just by using the Spirit Siphon.
I think the thing is that all of your normal defensive items, like your Ghost Scepters, your Yules, your Aeon Disc, all feel so useless against Shadow Demon. Like, if the Demonic Purge is on you, none of those items do anything, right? The continuous Dispel means that no matter what, you're still going to be brought down. So I think your best option is really just try and get as much HP as you possibly can. I think that's even, you know, that motivates like the BKB on the Death Prophet a little bit this game, right? Because what else are you going to buy? You buy Yules, it's not going to save you. You buy Ghost Scepter, not going to save you. So he's got the full halberd.
Like it could be kind of good. I'm sorry, they might be about to clash into each other, right?
Yeah.
That's an ambitious movement.
Action-packed, hide, lock down a little bit. Zhao Yu, he's found his target, just going to look towards the line, try and bring him down in the backline to get the Doom out, but not necessarily on the best target. Now, Excellent going to be just fine to turn around onto KP, look to focus him down. He can't run away from this team fight. The BKB Wind Ranger will not let him go. Q popping his BKB, going to turn around. They're looking for some revenge kills. Can they keep the Pango locked down? The Demonic Cleanse immediately removing that silence, I believe, so yeah, he's going to be totally fine. And Talon not finding what they were looking for.
Yeah, gets rid of the silence, gets rid of the roots. It's a fantastic Demonic Cleanse game coming through from Roger. And I was kind of thinking that maybe if they weren't that earlier item Aeon Disc, they would have got good value out of it still, even up against the Shadow Demon, because he doesn't have the Aghanim Scepter, opting to go for the Blink Dagger instead, because of how much attention is being put onto him by these stunning supports, the ones looking to initiate onto him. But now he's only 2 components away. So yeah, definitely now it's probably not the way that you want to look to itemize.
It's getting close. Roshan dropping low pretty quickly. Gotta remember that they've got that disarm from the Pango. Everyone very healthy. Savage runs over, just checking the high ground ward, but that's going to be another Aegis going the way of RSG. Early game, not great, but looking great now. Yeah, it seems that way, huh?
He just got given it.
Yeah. Yeah, Willow had it earlier, Shadow Demon, we know that he had it just before, so... And if Tiny didn't buy it at 15 minutes, I would be gobsmacked. So. I must have fallen asleep and woken up to a different patch, if that was the case.
Honestly, even the Stormcraft is kind of nice, right? Against... Of course, you've got the Demonic Clinch to be able to save against a lot of these little... you know, the roots, the silences, but Stormcraft is pretty damn effective at doing that as well.
Yeah, they've got some really annoying items
to be in.
actually. They've got Trickster Cloak on the Wind Ranger. They've got the Stormcrafter on the Dark Willow. So very, very tricky to get in these jump initiations that you're really looking for. I guess for Talon, you just kind of have to chill out, wait out the Aegis a little bit if you can, farm your triangle. They don't really have a whole lot of control on the map. And Roger even looking for a very deep ward blinking into the enemy base here. Okay, well, he's marked the next play. It's push bot, it looks like.
Yeah.
So.
How much time have they got left on this Aegis? Still 3.5 minutes.
3.5, so very solid.
Yeah, I don't think you'll... Would you buy out the Swift Blink on the Tiny? Are you feeling that confident in your push?
You know, you've still got, like I said before, you've still got the tier 2 buffer, right? So I think you can. I don't know if it's necessary though. It's not a big enough improvement to me. Like all of the Blink upgrades, right, are just such marginal. Like, oh yeah, it's the same as like, oh, I'm gonna eat this Moon Shard, right? Is having that eaten Moon Shard really gonna win you the team fight? Maybe not, but I think you could get away with buying an item in this situation if you really wanted to. Talon just out looking for a pick-off, smoked up, putting wards on high grounds, trying to find anything, but they're about, yeah, they're gonna get forced back soon.
Double siege creep wave as well.
Yeah, Tiny is already hitting your buildings, folks. So here come the TPs back, and this is what this ward is all about from RSG. Keep an eye out. Emperor, Makoto's here. MKS content to just hit the buildings for now. Roger hanging all the way back, ready with the defensive disruption. There's the cleanse, making sure that they cannot keep this Tiny locked down. Q gonna pop everything and just dives on him. Makoto looking for vision in the background to get the hex up on MKS. That's life number 1 gone immediately. KP in the sidelines looking for Excellent, but he just can't get anything off. He's getting pushed back. He's already used his BKP. He does have a buyback available. Gonna use that pretty much immediately. Xiaoyu resetting. He's already used the Rolling Thunder. Makoto not gonna let them go. They get the lockdown onto Excellent this time around, and they will be able to bring him down. And now RSG just sounding the retreat. But expensive fight for Talon, using the buyback and only really getting the 1 kill.
One of those games where you didn't get so lucky. There's no neutral items that are going to have that active that's going to be able to pop the Lincolns, so KP was just basically stuck next to Exilur, not being able to doom anyone.
I'll show you though. A little bit of lockdown. Doesn't want to use the Doom if at all possible. There's another Lincoln's there as well. Q now coming in, but they've got the Rolling Thunder back up again. Q actually gonna have to be a little bit careful. Makoto diving in deep. And looks like you're just gonna be fine. Roger is just pushing out bottom wave. Gonna try and apply a little bit of pressure.
Cheeky +5s, man.
Yeah. Look, this is what the Blink Dagger lets you do, right? You can kind of really shove these waves. You know, it's very unlikely that anybody's going to come back. Actually, in fact, Makoto doesn't even have a TP spell. So, the natural twist. Jump in immediately, Xiao. You got to be careful, Roger. Okay, now coming back to save a buddy. We'll be able to get him out of there. And now MKS diving in deep. They're all getting pushed back under the tier 4 tower. 23 Savage shackled to the other core. Just gets brought down immediately, and now it is an all-out retreat from Talon. They did not respect that buyback nearly enough. Or the defensive potential from Shadow Demon. And now it's just right back the other way. 2 cores dead with neither of them having buyback for the moment.
Yeah, and a big part of that impetus was, I mean, KP, he had to TP back to be able to deal with this bottom lane. You also had the multiple demonic cleanses now as well, now that you've got the Aghanim Scepter, and well, they're just going to go up into this mid lane. They could probably end it if they wanted to.
Yeah, I think so. If they don't see the buyback shortly, I think they're going to start... They're going to give a few pokes towards those tier 4s and see what happens. So just going to secure the 2 lanes of Rax, but if,
MKS wants.
Yeah, they can't take megas, so it's end or nothing at this point. They're going to keep on going, and I think it might just be end. Honestly, they do have the Doom available, but actually Blink is getting canceled by the Stormcrafter on the side of this fight. Waiting for his BKB to come off cooldown. They are going to jump in immediately, trying to put the damage onto the Tiny, but there's the defensive disruption. Keeping him alive for now. Going to turn his attention back towards the Doom. KP, can you get the Doom off? He can't, and he doesn't have buyback this time around. We doubted the Doom, and we doubted it for good reason. Great plays from RSG as they are going to take this game 1. Woo!
And the comeback side, the big thing really to highlight that game was just all of those plays around the high ground vision around that Roche pit, because you knew exactly what Talon were looking to go for with those timings. And RSG, they keep up their undefeated streak. They still have not dropped a single game throughout the entirety of this DPC season. So pretty damn exciting to still be in this really hype series, and hopefully they can keep the streak going.
That was awesome. We're both support players, so I feel like there's a little bit of bias involved here, but what a game from Roger, right? That was sick. I feel like he played super, super well. And
Roger and Q, to be honest, right? It's fantastic from both of them, finishing 11, 4, and 8 on the position 5 Death Prophet, most building damage on the team, third most damage overall. Like, it's pretty devastating to have to come up against that, and shows why it is such a high priority pick across, you know, the entirety of the region. I wonder if maybe Talon are going to look to put a little bit more emphasis into the Pangolier. It's one of those heroes alongside, you know, the Grimstroke, the Bane, the Ember Spirit that has a lot of priority by both teams, and I really feel like when Zhao Yu was able to actually use the Rolling Thunder, it just enabled so much space for Exulone and Zhao Yu and MKS to be able to have high levels of impact. But it's just game one, Kip. We got more coming.
Yeah, and he did so well even with just the lane going so badly, right? I think that was the other huge thing. But as you said, it's just game one in the books. We still have more of this fantastic series coming up, so we're going to head to a short break.